Good evening, or morning, or afternoon, wherever you are. So, this is the case of Madeline Soto. Now, we are going to be following the trial, and there's a lot of information that perhaps some people haven't even heard of, haven't seen, or anything like that. So, I figured that I would cover the case as though almost like we were doing it at the time, because obviously I was there at the time. So obviously I've got a lot of information in my head that I know, but not everybody knows the case and what went on here. So I figured we'll go through that. We'll look at the court documents and the files and documents from the police. This is a disturbing case. Hello, Donna. Hey, Mrs. P. But it's, you know, Madeline went through so much, and her voice needs to be heard, and she needs to get justice. And I have to try and remain professional, if you like, not cuss him out like I did on TikTok. Anyway, moving on. I'm going to start off with, I think what we'll start off with is a little bit of background. Then I'm going to play you the series of 911 calls that were made, and I'll explain why they are odd in a minute. And then we will start working our way through the press conferences that were played at the time, because obviously they're probably the most important in terms of factual information. And then in between that, we will fill the gaps with other stuff that's kind of been coming out over time. And there is so much information to learn on this case. And I think if you haven't or weren't around for it then, this will be really good for when he goes to trial, which the SO offences are going to be in May, it looks like. That's, only pencil that in because that's not a guarantee that that's going to happen. And then the other ones later in the year, I believe September or October. It's one or the two. And obviously, he is at the moment, he's up for the death penalty. He's asked to have it removed, obviously, and he's pled not guilty, obviously. And obviously, he is innocent until proven guilty. But I think most of us that followed this case, we're already there. We wouldn't be a very good jury. It is, like I said, it is a horrible case, and for the most part, I will give as much information as possible. But the only thing that I won't do, and I didn't do it back then, is read through the documents for the essay, because once you've seen it or heard it, you can't unhear it, and you're quite welcome to search them up. They are publicly available. But in keeping dignity for Madeline, I just won't do it. Oh, hello, Kelly. Where did you pop in from? It's a long time no see. Oh God, now I've got to behave. The sis is in the room. Ah! I was going to ring you today, but I will definitely make sure that I am going to be ringing you in the next couple of days. So I'm just going to start with some background information first. So on the 26th of February last year, she was reported missing. And this was around 8 p.m. Now, I don't understand the rules, but 4 o'clock, they decided to notify her mother that she hadn't been to school. And, it's one of those situations where in the UK, if your kid isn't in by 9 o'clock, you get a message by about 10 or quarter past asking, where are they? They're not here. And you have to explain why they're not there. So to me, it's an odd concept to wait till the end of the day to report that someone hasn't attended school. And to me, that buys perpetrators like Stefan the time to do whatever he needs to do and try and cover his tracks. We saw it with Audrey Cunningham's case, where he, I think it was about 1 or 2 o'clock-ish, the notification came through that Audrey hadn't gone to school. And in that time, that person, I want to call him a million things, but I'm not going to. He was able to do what he needed to do, and that led to days of searching for her. And it is madness to me. It's madness. So he was supposed, Stefan, who is Jennifer's mother's boyfriend, dropped her off, or told police that he'd dropped her off near Hunters Creek Middle School. That was her school, and that's where he allegedly claimed to have dropped her. Now, what he said was, when she wanted to be dropped there because it wasn't cool to be dropped off in that car that he was driving. She was embarrassed by it, so she wanted to be dropped further up the road, and that was his claim. Now, in the morning of that morning, Jennifer Soto, who is Madeline Soto's mother, if we're calling her that, was woken up when Stefan took the dog out for a walk, but she went back to sleep, claiming that she never saw Madeline that morning. But you'll see through this that the information is conflicting there. It's in my words, she's full of bollocks, because she was speaking one way and then she'd say something and it didn't quite add up, and people picked up on that straight away and called that out. But that's what she said. And then at some point also she kept referring to "we dropped her off." Now, anyone, I don't know if I would refer to "we" if I wasn't somewhere when that happened, but she was referring to them as "we dropped her off," blah, blah, blah. And then the stories are a little bit. Now, so she goes back to sleep, because obviously she needs her beauty sleep, does this woman. And if you know the case, you'll know why she needs her beauty sleep and what she does to get her beauty sleep. But during the day, Stefan goes on and tells Jen that his factory reset his phone. More bollocks. Now, when Jen goes to the school at around 4:30 to pick her up, she's told that she never came. And I don't understand that. I honestly don't understand that, but that was the school's policy. And at the time I went to the school's website, and that was the policy, that they don't, let's not ring the parents and let them know in the morning their kid in here. We'll just wait all day, see what happens. Might be all right, might not be all right, but we'll just wait and see. So she wasn't there, and then they find that her phone is left at home. Now, it says in this piece that I'm reading here that she had a tendency to run away, but then it says this was unusual for her. So which one is it? Had a tendency to run away, or was it unusual for her? And then it goes on into day 2, and we get press releases and those kind of things. So I'll start with the calls. Now, this is odd because it's not Jen. It's not Jen making the call, funnily enough. Wonder why.
911, what is the location of the emergency? Okay, what's going on? You need police, fire, medical.
No, it's not a medical issue. We have a missing child since this morning. We already called 3 times, and the police didn't show up yet.
Are you listening? Or
yes.
Do you know? Okay.
Yes.
Yes, ma'am. I see it right here for you. Yes, ma'am. I see it. This is waiting for a deputy to respond.
They haven't come here yet.
I'm worried, ma'am. I see it. It's waiting for a deputy to respond.
You're waiting for a deputy to respond?
Yes, ma'am.
And how long more do we need to wait? It's a child missing.
I understand that, ma'am, but I'm just not able to give out ETA. I don't know when they'll be there.
So how long do we need to wait? This is an emergency.
Ma'am, we have the information, but they're trying to get there someone as soon as possible.
So this is not important for you guys? Really?
No, we were very busy in the area. Look, I understand. They'll be there as soon as they can, okay?
911, what is the location of your emergency?
Okay, police or medical?
Hi, I called not that long ago reporting a missing child. I just wanted to know how long the
Yeah,
hospital
that's
takes to get here.
Okay, hold on. Let me open up the call and let's see. The call is still currently pending. They have the deputies respond out there, but we don't have any available deputies. We still have the call up, though, holding.
Okay, so no one's on their way yet?
Not yet, no.
Does it take long for them to respond to the call?
If there's a big emergency in the area and there's no units available, they put the calls on hold. But as soon as one becomes available, they respond to the next pressing call.
Okay, yeah, we just need one here urgently. So
I understand. We still have the call. We still have the call holding.
Yes.
Yep, we still have the call holding for them. I'll go ahead and update them with the information.
All right, thank you, because this happened very recently, so we just want to get everyone here. She's been missing since 8 a.m., so we want to get everything done as soon as possible to try to find her.
I understand.
Okay. Thank you.
911, what's the location of your emergency?
It's
And is there a specific apartment number, ma'am?
it's
And do you need police, fire, or medical?
police possibly. I'm reporting a missing child.
Okay. And what is the name of the business there, ma'am?
The business?
Okay. And the child that you're trying to report missing, are you calling on behalf of the parent?
Yes, on behalf of the mother. She's missing.
Okay. Okay. And then and ma'am, how old is the child? And could
Only I can get my own comments banned. I basically said he needs
I
to
go
be
ahead and get her
castrated.
name?
Yes, it's
He needs to be
And
castrated.
is she white, black, or Hispanic?
she's white.
Okay.
Blonde hair,
And
dirty blonde hair, blue eyes.
okay, hold on with me here. And then what color shirt and pants was she last seen wearing?
Hold on, let me ask. Then, what color shirt and what was she last wearing? Hold on, we're finding out.
Okay, and then how long has it been though since you guys have last seen her?
Since this morning, she was dropped off at school this morning, and apparently she never showed up. We called everyone we knew. No one's seen her.
Okay, and then ma'am, I just want to confirm though, was she last seen from this address? Is this where you guys last saw her?
No. She was last seen at the church next to Hunters Creek Middle School. I think it's called Peace Church. I'm not sure of the exact address. She was wearing a dark green hoodie, I believe.
What is the name of the church?
I think I'm pretty sure it's called Peace Church. It's the one right next to Hunters Creek Middle School. It's no.
Got it. It's across the street from it?
I believe so, yeah. There's two. I just forgot about the other one. It's not Focal Point Church. It's
Well, is it Peace United Methodist Church?
Yes.
Okay.
That one.
Okay, is she diagnosed with any mental conditions at all?
I know she takes medication for ADHD, and I'm pretty sure that's it.
Okay. Sorry, bear with me here. And is she known to carry anything on her person, like a pocket knife, pepper spray, anything at all like that?
No,
Okay.
no, nothing like that.
Does she have a cell phone that she might keep on her person?
She doesn't. She had one, but she left it at home conveniently today.
Okay.
Right there. It's over there. Okay.
ma'am, what is your name?
My name is.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. And just so we recognize you when we arrive there, though, at the advance to come meet with you guys, are you, ma'am, white, black, Indian, Asian, or Hispanic?
I'm Hispanic.
And what color shirt and pants will you be wearing?
Pants, dark wash jeans. I have a green cardigan on and a white shirt.
Thank you. And I just need to verbally confirm as all. Do you have any at all weapons on your person?
No, I do not.
Okay. All right. And are you going to be waiting for us inside?
Yeah. I'll come outside. I just see through glass. So I'll see when you guys show up.
Okay, perfect then. So then I'll get a call placed for service. We'll have deputies out there to come and make a report with you and to come and assist with trying to find your. Okay.
Okay. Her mother and they're going to the school to double check and everything, but from what we know, she wasn't there. So they should be back soon too, because it's right next to the school.
Yeah, that's fine. So if at least one of you remains there, though, to meet with an officer, that's more than fine, okay?
Yeah, I'll be here.
Okay, then. All right. Thank you so much, ma'am, and I'll go ahead and let you go. We'll be out there as quickly as we can, okay?
Okay.
All right. Bye-bye, ma'am.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
Oh. Where is it? I got so many things. Just going to press pause there. So, I mean, everyone and anyone except Jennifer wanted to pick up the phone and report a daughter missing. Jennifer is always worried about herself, always, the whole entire time. Even before this happened, obviously we know that she used to require a beauty sleep and would encourage her boyfriend and her daughter to go and sleep upstairs in the spare bedroom together. Just completely, just would not. No normal person would encourage that. I don't know where Jen is. Jen's in hiding. Jen needs to come out of hiding and show her face. And I said earlier they did a hearing today, a pre-trial hearing, and he wasn't there. I couldn't see him because he's a coward and he needed his ghoulies taken off without any anaesthetic. Just take them off. And I said, I wonder if she's there because she wasn't there for her daughter in her life when she was alive. I wonder if she'll come and, represent her as her mother in death. And then I thought, nah, she probably wouldn't come because then everyone probably be waiting for her to show up, and she probably hasn't. Thingy. Yeah, they weren't sure if he was going to show up today or not, but he clearly is a coward, and you should be made. You should be made to sit there through the whole thing. He should not be. There's so many motions that they're filed, isn't there? There's been ones for I've just seen as I've been looking in that motions to not allow the victim impact statements at the end to be read by the victims, to be read by someone neutral. Fuck off. That's what I say. Bollocks. You ain't nothing special. You ain't nothing special. Everyone else has to bloody do it. Well, actually, Harmony Renee, formerly Montgomery, for those if you haven't seen that, that's another awful case. But he was appearing in court and he was fighting his innocence and all that, and then all of a sudden from nowhere he went, oh, I'm going to plead guilty, and then I'm not coming to any of the hearings. But they did force him there for sentence and he did have to come for that. But I think, in the UK, we bring you in, but they have allowed criminals to be taken back down the stairs because they didn't want to be in the room. Now, I don't know if you heard about this one, Cal, but we had Axel Ruda Bukana. Now, he's an arsehole, big one. He stabbed 3 little girls to death and injured other people. And he also had ricin in his home. So as in preparing for an act of terror kind of writing. And he also had the handbook for terrorism as well. Anyway, so the 3 girls died. He went to a dance school. They were having fun, and he went and killed them, and that was awful. And he's recently just had his trial. He was going to have a trial, then he pled guilty. And on the day for the sentencing and the remarks, he was shouting his mouth off in the courtroom, so they had to get him down and out of the way. Me, I would have put a sock in it, or wrapped the tape around his mouth, cuffed his hands to the table, and I would have made him sit there and listen. He kept going, "Oh, my chest hurts. I don't feel well. I need medical attention." I would have given him some Calpol, which is baby medicine, put the sock in, tied him up, and made him sit there. But the judge had to send him down. Then they kept trying to bring him back up, and he wouldn't come in. I want him to be on the death row, mate. I want him on death row. Fuck that. Let him be a coward, but let him face the DP, because he deserves no less. But yeah, in our court, they don't have to be there for their sentencing and stuff. They can go down, but they are looking at changing that law. But the problem is, if they're kicking off in the courtroom, so if Stefan kicks off in the courtroom, it's more it stops the process happening and delays it. And secondly, it's distressing for the families involved. I mean, it won't be distressing for Jen, will it? Because she probably still loves him and all that bollocks. But yeah, that's a horrible case, that is. And he's only young. And and do you know what the scary thing was about that handbook? Anyone can download it. I found it in 2 clicks. I found it and then I downloaded it in 2 clicks to see how easy that was. And it was bloody too easy. It's online. It's terrible. It's terrible. Right, let's swap the old screen over. Which one is it? It's that one. Bloody hell. Yes, that is it. Let's make it bigger. So this is the original press conference. So we're walking through it like we've been looking for her, and we're covering the case, so to speak, and then that brings everyone back into the room and up to speed. Oh, that sounds really weird. I've cut out all the wasted times of standing around.
All right. Well, good afternoon. So thank you for being here, so we can bring as much attention as possible to the case of missing juvenile Madeline Soto. So let me first start by saying, I know as a parent, this is every parent's worst nightmare. Many of our detectives and deputies who are working the case, they also have children. So they're working extra hard to find Madeline. We can't even imagine the pain and anguish that Madeline's family is going through. But I do want to assure the community that we have well over 100 deputies, detectives, intelligence analysts, and specialized personnel who are investigating this case and searching for Madeline right now. And we will not stop until we find her. So Madeline is 13 years old. She has been missing since 8:30 on Monday morning when mom's boyfriend dropped her off near Hunters Creek Middle School. He dropped her off actually near the Peace United Methodist Church on Town Loop Boulevard. So I'll kind of go through like a timeline of events as we know it. Like I said, mom's boyfriend dropped Madeline off at about 8:30 a.m. on Monday morning, a few blocks away from the school. At approximately 4:30 on Monday afternoon, Madeline's mom went to the school to pick her up and found out that Madeline was not there and had never reported to school. So she never actually entered the school. And so we also learned that Madeline left her phone at home that day. So we were called on Monday evening at approximately 8 p.m. Our patrol deputies went out there, met with Madeline's mom at the school near Hunters Creek to take a report on her missing daughter. So we started the investigation that night, started canvassing the area, looking for any witnesses or surveillance video. So later that evening, while we were doing an investigation, we did obtain an article of Madeline from the house. We called our bloodhound. The bloodhound did an extensive search, which unfortunately did not provide any results about her whereabouts. So our missing persons detectives responded to take over the investigation. So they did interviews with mom's boyfriend, Madeline's friends from school. We were able to access Madeline's phone, and there is information on the phone that indicated that she told people when she turned 13, which was on February 22nd, she actually wanted to go live in the woods. So that was in her phone. And so during the course of the day on Tuesday, detectives and deputies conducted extensive interviews, an extensive canvass. We collected video from the area and again, conducted interviews with family members. So on yesterday, we distributed flyers in the area near the school. As a matter of fact, Madeline's family had their own flyers. We're also distributing flyers to family and friends and students at the school at the same time. So the house is in Kissimmee, where the family lives, is being held overnight by the Orange County Sheriff's Office and the Kissimmee Police so that we could secure search warrants. This is common practice in cases like this, and those search warrants should be executed today. On Wednesday this morning, more than 50 members of our emergency response team responded out there to the area near the school and conducted an area search for Madeline. And so we have a command post set up out there at that area. We also have a command post set up here at the sheriff's office for the investigative side of it. So, you know, our detectives are continuing to do interviews and follow up on all possible leads. One thing we do in all missing person cases, especially missing juveniles, our sex offender surveillance squad goes out and makes contact with every single sex offender in the area of Madeline's last location. And so, you know, I wish I had some more definitive answers. We just want to keep getting Madeline's picture out there. We want people who may know something about her disappearance to call us. They can call us anonymously at 1-800-423-TIPS. They can also call 911 if they think they know what happened to Madeline. And again, you know, it's every parent's worst nightmare, but rest assured that, you know, we are doing everything possible. We have an extensive section dedicated to working solely on finding out where Madeline is. And I'll take some questions, but again, still early on in the investigation. I'll start over here. So right now, the facts of the disappearance don't qualify through the Florida Department of Law Enforcement for an Amber Alert. Certainly, if through the investigation it does qualify for an Amber Alert, we will send that out.
Sure. Just I know we say it's the her mother's boyfriend. Is there any indication the father's in the picture? Is he local? Is there any possibility another family member from, I guess, previous marriage might be involved in this?
There's no information to indicate that there's another family member, an outside family member is involved. No, not at this time.
Is he local, the father, you know?
I'm not sure. Yeah.
Sure.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah, sorry. Based on what you found on the phone, is there any indication that she was trying to live with somebody else in the woods?
No, just the information on the phone was that when she turned 13, which was just February 22nd, she was going to live out in the woods. So it's one of the reasons we're out there in that area searching. That was, yeah, through either text messages or other social media messages.
Sheriff, I know you mentioned that she asked to be dropped off an hour before school. Anything suspicious about the location of where she was dropped off and the timeline of when she was actually dropped off?
Yeah, that's certainly all the things that our detectives look at. I know the initial information was that she said, "Hey, I'm embarrassed of this vehicle, whatever. So drop me off at this location." We're still following up on all of that, but yes, certainly something that we will look into. Why not drop her off at the school? But we're looking into all of that.
Sheriff, we've heard there is surveillance video from that church that was given to detectives. Does it show her actually getting out of the car and starting to walk?
So we collected that video, analyzed it, and it's a very, very grainy video. So we're not actually sure if that's Madeline, but we've collected video from other parts of that area too.
At this point, are you looking at the boyfriend, the person who dropped her off, as a suspect or anybody?
So anytime we have like a missing juvenile, we certainly look at everyone that has contact with that juvenile. It's one of the first things that we do. So the investigation is ongoing. So yeah, anytime that we have a missing kid who left her phone at home, who was dropped off, early, a few blocks from school, we look at all of that. So, anytime a child goes missing, to me, it's always suspicious. And in this case, that's why, we're putting all these resources towards finding her. Well over 100 personnel are working to find her, from detectives to analysts to specialized patrol, mounted patrol, our emergency response team, and others.
When she left her school that morning, was she carrying anything besides the obvious?
Not to my knowledge, no, nothing that was beyond the obvious. Yeah. Yes.
So are you talking your searching of the park? If there's any indication that she can be around their area?
Where? So we're searching all the areas around that area where she was last seen, and then of course we're searching any area where we've received any tips or any areas that investigative leads have led us to. Yeah.
Sure. Do you know when that text message or social media message was actually sent? That communication?
I can't tell you exactly when it was. It obviously it was before she turned 13, which was February 22nd, but that's all I can tell you right now.
And was there any indication that there was some sort of turmoil in the household while she's telling folks that she's thinking of living in the woods?
Other than that, to my knowledge, there was no other indication of turmoil in the house.
How many believe that she was taken? There's any possibility of that?
So, that's why we have all these people out there. We don't know if she was taken. We don't know if she stepped away. She left her phone at the house. So that's why we're putting all this effort into. That's why we're doing this press conference, to hope, someone from the public may have saw something. It might not have seemed like a big deal at the time, but now knowing what Madeline looks like, maybe it's some information that could help us find her whereabouts.
Sheriff, we're told that Madeline was into online gaming. Mom mentioned that she had a passion for gaming online. Any indication if something could have happened, perhaps connected to online?
Yeah, so anytime a juvenile goes missing, we're always looking at social media or phones. Obviously, I said we have her phone. We're able to analyze her phone. So anything that's involving gaming or social media, certainly we take a look at. And just know that a lot of times some of that information from third-party social media platforms does take time. We need to get subpoenas and information. But yeah, we are looking at that phone, and certainly that's things that our detectives will look at.
Sure.
You said that the house is being held in Kissimmee, but any chance there's any information that there could be a search going on in St. Cloud,
Yeah, so like I said, throughout the investigation and tips that come in, we search different areas. I'm not exactly sure where they are right now. I just know that we've searched several areas out there.
Sure. You mentioned the blood. I'm just curious. Obviously, Bloodhouse pick up a trace of Madeline. I believe you had deputies out there by the middle school today. That's also where trail is. Can you just give us an indication, like what kind of radius a bloodhound can do, or area, or?
The bloodhounds. I mean, we put out our own videos. Depending on the scent and how strong it is, there's cases of bloodhounds, tracking someone a mile or even more away. So that's why we have bloodhounds here. We use them anytime we have a missing person. And so, that's one of the reasons not too long ago, we put out our scent evidence kit. If you want to, you can get one of these scent evidence kits. You can put a piece of their clothing, an article of their clothing inside this kit. And then if, God forbid, someone who's elderly, who may has dementia or Alzheimer goes missing,
Hey,
you
Michelle.
can give the bloodhound, let them sniff that article, and they may be able to take the bloodhound right to it. But they're incredible animals, as you know, and they're very capable of doing those searches.
When interviewing the family, last night they referenced the person who dropped Madeline off as the boyfriend. Today they said ex-boyfriend. Can you confirm if it was a boyfriend or ex-boyfriend of the mother?
So the information I have is that it was that the mom's boyfriend dropped her off. That's the information I have.
Sheriff, there's a great amount of detective work going on, a great amount of resources at work. Do you have any suspicion about what happened to this little girl?
So all I will say is that our detectives are following up on every single lead with the end result of finding Madeline. That's their number one priority. But in investigations like this, they look at everything. Like I said, we interview family members, we locate sex offenders that are in the area. We look at video, we look at everyone's phones, we do search warrants to see if there's any indication in the house. So we do all of that. And it's an extensive investigation. So I said well over 100 people are involved. So, we're hoping some tips come in that may help us. Again, we're going to continue to look at all the things that we do, license plate readers, video surveillance, cell phone information from everyone, and those are all the things that are going on right now. If we get tips, certainly we will. There's a lot of different areas out there. And we'll send our search teams to different areas over the next couple of days.
Sheriff, the mom mentioned to us that the daughter has autistic tendencies. Did that change search efforts at all?
No, we treat a missing person as a missing persons, and I know there's different levels, and people are on the spectrum at different levels. So no, it wouldn't change our investigation. It's just a piece of information that we know, and based on our training of dealing with people who may be on the spectrum, that's something that we take into consideration about where they might end up, where they might go.
Everybody good?
All right, thank you.
Well, hello there. I am back in the room. Okay, so that was one of the first press conferences that we heard, and they gave quite a bit of information. And in the beginning there, we can hear all sorts of different things that now where we are today, knowing what we know, it makes me question every press conference that I've ever heard because it was just all utter like, oh, there's been nothing going on in the family home. Well, we know that's bollocks, don't we? Because there was. And, she wanted to be dropped off up the road. And, generally it was just all, swings and roundabouts. And this was just, not a thing that would happen or would expect to have happened. And the interesting thing, which I think as well, when this first came out, and I don't know if you agree, Kelly, but like when they said about her possibly have been seen on that CCTV, because obviously at that point when we were told there was possible footage of her, it wasn't that clear, but they thought that was her. That was one of the things that was said, which kind of then gives you the indication that perhaps she's wandered off, kind of get, and then there was all the speculation, well, was that Jen? And who knows, that could have been Jen. But obviously it wasn't Madeline. But it kind of confused things a bit because obviously at that point people are just thinking, oh, perhaps she's just run off. And I can remember when this happened, and back then, and I'd still do it now, I'll be honest, people were like really coming for the mother. And at this point, I was kind of the opinion, well, we don't actually know anything, and so therefore we can't accuse her of anything. Or him. I didn't really know much about him either at this point in time. At this point in time, she's a missing person. And then they started going on because it then transpires that she wants to go live in the woods. Now, that is a bit of an odd statement for a teenager to make, that when they turn, I think it was 16, or I think it was 16, she said she wanted to go and live in the woods. And to me, that's an odd statement. However, at that point in time, we couldn't, or I wasn't going to have people coming in and accusing this, that, and the other. Something's got to be going on until we had more information, because in another situation, it could just be, right, because we didn't know the family, we didn't know Madeline, that perhaps she was an outdoorsy kind of kid and liked to play out, and has that kind of thought process and imagination as a young kid, that, oh yeah, now I'm going to go live in the woods, and that Hansel and Gretel, be all cool, whatever. But at that point, you have to kind of balance, well, there's a woman here whose child is missing. Obviously the stepfather is. Did you hear that? Did you just hear that in the background? You say you didn't just hear that in the background. And poor Kelly, whenever I'm on the phone with her, she normally hears all the background. Um, oh God. Oh good. Oh good. Oh, and my son was making some weird cockerel noise out in behind me. And I don't know what comes. I don't know where these noises come from. Oh, you heard it. Oh no. Well, that was loud. I mean, it's a noise cancelling mic, but there's a limit on its capabilities, and that's probably one of the limits. No, that was my son making a weird noise. Sorry about that, guys. But at this point, my thought process is this: in the very beginning, we don't know them, we don't know anything, and the police haven't given us any indication that there's an issue. Put that mentally to one side. That is not a normal comment to make. But at this point, this woman's daughter is missing, and he may or may not give two shits. I don't know. But her daughter is missing, and we have to give her the benefit of the doubt until we can't give her the benefit of the doubt, until we are shown she doesn't deserve the benefit of the doubt. Because as well, if we all then start going, absolutely, she's in it and he did it and all this stuff, and it's actually not true, you're setting yourself up for a problem. And so I think even now I know what we know, I still would act in that way in the beginning, because you do have to give some grace, because not everyone is a bad person. It's just obviously how this case unfolded, but it's difficult listening back, actually, because when we listen back and we now know what we know, it all sounds so wrong. That press conference just made everything sound so just like, it's just an average, normal, happy family kind of thing, and yeah, this wouldn't have been expected, and it's lies. It was all lies. Don't messing with me, Donna. Stop doing that. Before I move on to the next thing, I'm going to show you her interview in a minute. But just on the house news, so there was 3 people came, as most of you know. Kelly hadn't, because I hadn't spoken to her for a little bit, and I am going to be making sure that happens in the next day or two. So 3 people came. One said it wasn't quite what they wanted, but they keep it in mind. The second person, who really liked it, had a buyer and was going to put in an offer, the person buying theirs pulled out, so they didn't put in the offer. So the third person was the one that came round twice. You know, when I was outside walking the dogs out in the fucking freezing cold for about an hour, that one. And I was like, if she doesn't buy this fucking house, I'm going to be mental. Well, she really liked the house. They came in with a ridiculous offer, and I was like, hell no. They're moving in together. He's sold. She's got to sell, but hers only just went on the market, but she's got viewings all this week, apparently about 3 of them coming in. But she really wants this house, so she's reduced her property by 20 grand so that she can sell it quick, so that she can buy this. That was when I nearly went missing, and I was like, Mrs. Purple, if I go missing, just know that I made a stupid mistake, and I never normally make this mistake, right? So it's getting dark, because it's late when they came, and I thought, right, I didn't even think about it getting dusk and dark and that, and I was walking, and I thought, I'll go to the woods. I'll go in the woods. I mean, that's a really sensible idea. It's a really sensible idea, isn't it? Go in the woods on your own with 3 dogs that, yeah, they would look like they'd bite your face off when they first see you from behind, because they bark at everything and anyone that moves. But then as soon as they came up, they'd be like sniff, and then they'd be able to murder me. So that wasn't the best move. But I did come out the other side and come out of the wooded area into a more public area. Just like, yeah, you know, Winston will bark at anything and he looks rabid. But then if you come up to him, he'll just be nice because he's a dickhead. But I love him. He's mine. He's my dickhead. Oh, dear. Right, let me just come back to my little...
Jen, go ahead.
Hang on. Right, why can't I see my play?
Jen, go ahead and tell us what's going on with Maddie.
Oh, we'll watch this then.
Monday morning, we took her to school.
This is the mother, okay, and this is where she talks, where she contradicts herself. So we'll watch this. There was something else I was going to show, but this one seems to be next in the line. It won't let me see my list to click on the one I want to, because they're not all necessarily in order. So that's going to be a pain in the ass. I'll need to figure that out. But for now, we'll listen to this. So this is the mum. And I think everyone was watching her in this thinking she's being dishonest. And again, I'm not a body language expert, so there was no way I could say, yeah, I mean, in my opinion, she might look a bit like she's acting a bit off, but I'm not an expert, so I can't call that one, only my own personal opinion. But let me know what you think as you're watching her, because she's something else. I know, I couldn't believe it. I was like, because I was just busy like chatting in Adele's live and keeping me company while I was out, and then I was walking and I got into the wooded area and I realised it was getting dark, and I was like, fuck, what am I doing? And I only realised and noticed because I saw another person, and it was a man with a dog, and I thought, well, I hope he's not here and he's going to murder me, because I'll be screwed, because the dog would just lick him in the end. Although the dog would probably run away when his dog came to my dogs, because they're stupid, but they're all my kinds of stupid.
We dropped her off close to school, across the street from a church, which is it's right next to the school. She crossed the street and walked to school, what we thought walked to school. My boyfriend who drove her to school drove away at that point. It was seen on video footage that she hung out in the parking lot of the church for a few minutes and then got up and walked towards the school. But she never made it that walk and that was around 9 a.m. when she got up. She never made it to school after that. It's right next to the school. I don't know why she didn't make it. I don't know if something happened on her walk along the way or if she got taken, but she never made it.
And that was the last anyone's seen of her or heard from her?
Yes. I went to pick her up after school, and she wasn't there. So I started driving around, maybe thinking she took a walk, maybe she decided to walk to my mom's office, which is pretty close to the school as well. Drove around and I didn't see anything. I drove back to the school was closed. I emailed one of her teachers. They confirmed that she was absent all day. At that point is when I called 911 because I realized something was truly wrong.
Have you heard from like any of her friends? Has she been active on any social media?
She hasn't been active on social media, none of her chats, none of her games. We did contact all her friends. None of them had seen her Monday or heard from her. Yeah, there's no update.
And I have to ask this, and I know I hate doing it, but is she the type that would run away? Has this happened in the past or anything? Has she ever threatened to run away?
Never. She's never ever mentioned anything like this before. And she's not the type to want to do this. She did accidentally leave her phone on Monday.
What about the time she wanted to live in the woods? Did you forget about that? Like, she never wanted to do that before. Come on, Jen. And she keeps looking away. He's hovering in the background like I don't know, he can't even, when he's sort of, when he turns to where the camera or where she is, he's not even looking. He's looking down all the time. And she keeps looking like kind of up and to well, I guess that would be her left, because where I'm sat, she's left will be my right, I think. Yes.
Which is kind of normal for her. She's got ADHD and very forgetful. So she left her phone at home, so there's no way to trace her. They tried tracing her school laptop, but that's off, so it's not.
Don't care if you've got ADHD or not. Most kids would never have that phone out of their hands. It goes to the fucking toilet with them. It goes in the bath with them. It's in their hand as they're walking up the street. It's in their hands when they are eating. They live on their mobile phones. That's probably the one thing that most children with ADHD don't forget. 2 of mine got ADHD and they always had their phones everywhere. It's glued. It's like it's kids and phones are magnets together and you can't separate them. And the minute you even try to separate them, it's like World War III.
Not pinging to anything.
Jen, what is your fear? I know you mentioned she's on games and stuff. Do you think she could have like met somebody and tried to meet up with them?
She's open to us. She's open with us about, if she's got a crush with anyone. And she told us she had a crush on someone at school. And I looked at their messages. Nothing was weird. I looked at all of her messages, all of her deleted messages. Nothing seemed weird. It didn't seem like she was talking to anyone. So I don't feel like that's the case. I feel like she may have been taken, because this is not like her at all to just disappear.
Wait a minute. I've got a question. So you just said she's open with you and tells you all this, that, and the other. Well, I'll call that bollocks. But you just said in that interview that you checked her phone and the deleted messages. So there must have been some of those communications in the deleted part of that phone that she had when she was communicating with Stefan on the phone. And even if it wasn't that graphic or anything like that, it would have been a warning, because it wouldn't have been normal communications between them. And then she might have opened, or she might have said some stuff to her friends that might not have been Stefan's doing this to me. But the way in which she would have been talking to her friends, or the things that she would have said, there would have been things in there that weren't normal. The communications between him and her would not have been normal communications. And if she deleted them and you're pulling up the deleted messages, you would have seen some of those communications and you would have picked up a clue or 5 or 10 that something is not quite right in that relationship. the only times I have to say, the only times I've ever gone onto the phone is when I've had to go on a phone, like to check a phone, and it nearly caused World War III. But that was because there was things on there that shouldn't have been on there. But when I deal with things, I deal with things, and then I marched my own child up to the school with my concerns with what was in the phone, and and was working with the school and whatnot. But I wouldn't do it just, oh well, I just want to check your phone, check you're not up to anything or any, I wouldn't do that on a routine. I've never had to check my youngest son's phone ever. But if I got wind that I thought I needed to, then yes, I would. But I don't feel that I need to, so I wouldn't be checking that kind of information. But as she's saying she did, there would have been clues in that phone, in the images and all that sort of stuff. She did, Kelly, she did. She is an idiot, and I don't think she's as stupid as she comes across. I'm not gonna lie. I think she knew. She had to know, because she made that comment as well about having concerns about her. I can't remember the exact wording now, but having concerns that she would have a relationship with him, and he'd leave her for her daughter when she was old enough. They'd bugger off. The Woody Allen comment. And I think she knew. And I think she just thought, well, if I let him do whatever, turn a blind eye, I pretend I don't know nothing. No, I think she knew more. Now we know what we know. I'm more convinced of it than ever, because she has definitely been given, I don't know if it's confirmed or not, but I've seen the word immunity deal thrown around. I've heard people speculating on that. Has she been given an immunity? If she testifies, well, then if she testifies, she fucking knows, doesn't she? And that's why she's gone into hiding and no one's ever seen her again. I would be even shocked if she comes to the trial to represent her daughter in her death, because she'll be too frightened of the public, because the public want to see her, because she just disappeared. She just disappeared because she's a coward like he is.
And not let us know where she's going or who she's with. Yeah.
What are you getting from law enforcement? Are they actively searching for her? What happens now? Especially that she doesn't have her phone with her.
So as far as I know, they're conducting a search around the school. Behind the school, there's a Shingle Creek. There's a wooded path area that you could walk. It's a hiking path. They are going back there with their canine dogs. They've taken a piece of her clothing to see if they can trace her scent. They're also taking their own vehicles. I'm not sure what type of vehicles, but they're going into the woods to search for her. But I don't feel like that's going to find anything right now. We've had people all day on that trail sending us photos to see if anything there looks familiar, and like,
I don't feel that that's going to be what. Why would you not? That I'm not a body language expert. You can tell this is making me mad already. I'm not a body language expert, right? But to me, and it just signifies to me that she fucking knows. She knew, and I am more than convinced that with the way she spoke about how Maddie got to school, one minute she saw her, the next minute she didn't see her. I think she knew what had happened. Even if she wasn't there when it happened, I think she knew that he'd done the unaliving. And I personally think that she helped to concoct this story. I'll be honest, that's just my personal opinion on it. Now we know, because obviously you've got to remember I'm a million miles up the road ahead of a lot of people that haven't seen this case. But I personally feel, I think that she knew more, and that's why it won't shock me if she's been given immunity. because she kept changing her story. She wasn't hopeful, and she closed her eyes. Let me just fraction that back. She closed her eyes when she said that. Look.
They're also taking their own vehicles. I'm not sure what type of vehicles, but they're going into the woods to search for her.
Closed her eyes. I don't know about her knowing exactly, but it could be she did. Yeah, I think she knew. And one of the reasons is about the fact that it was everyone else that was making all the 911 calls except her. Now, I don't think that obviously she wanted that to happen to her daughter. She didn't protect her daughter at all. I do think that she probably had an inclination of what was going on with Stefan and what he was doing. I just do. And that's just a gut feeling that I have. But in terms of her being like knowing or being part of the unaliving, I don't think that's what happened. I know people have said, oh, she was this, she was pregnant and this, that and the other, and she wanted to get rid of her and she was jealous of her daughter. I don't think necessarily that was the case, and I don't think she was part of what happened in terms of her murder, unaliving, whatever the hell YouTube want to call it. But I think she did know. And the thing is, when you're being honest, your story doesn't change. And her story did change. And you know, we know that she wasn't there when he drove past the security into the complex, because it was him and Maddie, and that's how we learned that at that point police already believed that she had died and that he was driving her there, because she was sort of slumped, wasn't she, in the seat. But I do think she knows thereafter what, and I think because she really loved him, whatever. She probably didn't want to lose him. I think she probably thought, well, we'll concoct this story. And the thing is, if you haven't done anything wrong, why would you go into hiding? What is your theory? Because we don't know 100% if she was pregnant. That's not been... Yes, we know. And her mum, another weird thing, obviously this is 10 steps ahead of what, because we already know some stuff, but she kept pregnancy tests in their apartment, just in case. I mean, I don't know if that's a thing that people do. I certainly don't. They're expensive, and I don't feel the need to have one in my house. One, because I know that's just, that can't happen. But even prior to that, I begrudged buying them when I thought I was pregnant, let alone when I'm not pregnant, having them sat there. But yeah, he definitely probably thought because of that. And I mean, she must have a reason why either she was trying to get pregnant by him. And there was that weird thing, weren't there, afterwards, that will come up a bit further down the line about the messages. Again, see those messages between Maddie and him were weird. They were weird. And she reckons that she was keeping an eye in on her phone. So she's not telling the truth. If you've got nothing to hide and you speak your truth, it will just be consistent all the time and it won't change. And the thing is, because now we know other things that we didn't know back then, I think it was the order thing, wasn't it, off Amazon as well? And yeah, no, she's not a mastermind. I don't think she masterminded the thing, but I think probably after it happened. And the thing is, if she participated in trying to cover up, she did a shit job, and that will explain it because she's not a mastermind. But he probably would mastermind most of it, and she probably went along with it because once he'd told her kind of thing and she knew, you're in a sticky situation and you don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's just my thoughts that I think after it happened, I think she knew, because I can't keep up with her story. She can't keep up with her own story. She's definitely not telling the truth. When she said about looking for her in the woods, she closed her eyes. She's not telling the truth, or she knows something. And I think she did know. I think at this point, when she's doing this interview, I think she knew. But yeah, she ain't no mastermind. She's and that's why this fell apart very quickly, and people were like, hang on a minute. You said we dropped her off. Now you're saying he dropped her off. Then you said X, Y, and Z. But now you're saying this. Like, you first of all, you saw her and you didn't see it. And why wasn't she at her daughter's birthday? You know, her daughter's 13th birthday, big birthday. Yeah, definitely. He absolutely could. And that's why she ran quick into hiding. Once people clocked on and started questioning things and calling out, I think that's why she did the runner. Now, at this point, still back then, and this is why I saw at the time, I always sit back and go, look, I'm not a body language expert. And I suppose now I should look at this as I would back then and say, right, okay, well, she's probably not used to these interviews and stuff, and she's probably nervous. And so we've got to take all of that into account. But I think now, because I know more, I just feel things tie up very differently. But when I look at these cases and stuff, I always say, well, you can't judge a book by its cover. Like, you know, like when I did the documentary, I didn't know what I was doing. I was nervous as hell. And everyone holds that differently and deals with nerves and TV and cameras and unwanted spotlighted attention very differently. So I suppose we have to also consider that as well. So I do want to take that on board, but I still do think she did know something. Yeah, not protecting her.
But I don't feel like that's going to find anything right now. We've had people all day on that trail sending us photos to see if anything there looks familiar and like her personal belongings, and nothing is hers. So I'm not sure where to go from here. I'm just contacting the news to get the word out, to get some help, because I'm desperate. I'm a wreck right now.
So you think that she's been taken against her will?
I do think so, yes.
As a mom, you know, what's your mother's intuition telling you right now?
I'm trying to hope for the best, but I'm scared for her. I want her to be okay, and I want her to be safe. I don't want her to come back harmed. I just want her back, whatever that means. I just want her back.
Are you getting any updates from law enforcement? I mean, yes, they're searching that small area, but have they gotten any hits on any scent or anything like that?
They haven't let me know anything. They haven't updated me since I spoke to them this morning. I've contacted them to get some information or to give them some leads, but I've heard nothing back.
And Jen, there's no way that she, just being, you know, a teenager, was like, maybe had a fight with you or an argument with you and was like, you know what, I'm going to go hang out at so-and-so's house and teach her a lesson. You know, could that be a scenario?
I don't believe so. We actually haven't gotten into a fight in like a few weeks, or arguments or anything like that. If anything, on Sunday, she celebrated her 13th birthday with my entire family, and she had the best day. She was so happy. She showed us all her gifts. She's just a happy girl, and she showed it on Sunday night when she went to bed. She was so happy. So, you know, she had the best day. I just, you know, there was no There was no moment in that evening from when she got home from the party that she had her phone or had the laptop. She went straight to getting ready and went to bed. So I know she didn't have any conversations with anyone. She didn't make plans with anyone. I didn't see any of that.
So she spent the whole Sunday celebrating her 13th birthday. Was her 13th birthday on that Sunday, or that was just like the time you guys were celebrating?
That was the time we were celebrating. Her birthday was on Thursday, the 22nd.
Okay,
She just turned 13.
But that's just so heartbreaking to be celebrating her 13th birthday, and then the very next day, that's
gone.
the last you've seen of her.
Yeah.
I mean, where do you go now? Are you gonna go out there and search or look, or what is are you sticking by the phone? Are you what are you doing?
He's a creep.
I'm staying at home, staying by the phone, hoping she just appears. I know my entire family is out looking. They've all spread a bunch of flyers. I've had people contact me that they've gone to the international airport to spread flyers, to Amtrak, to Greyhound, just any way that if someone's taken her and they're trying to take her, just to show her face, just to make sure, she's not being taken against her will.
And you mentioned ADHD. Was there anything else maybe mentally going on, or that you knew of?
She does suffer from anxiety, and once upon a time she was diagnosed with autism. We had her what's the word?
Brained, maybe?
Reevaluated.
Okay.
We had her reevaluated a few months ago, actually, and they told us no, she didn't have autism, but she did have some autistic traits. She did have ADHD, some autistic traits, but not autism. So I'm not sure where to leave with that, because one doctor said she did and one doctor saying she doesn't, and I don't know. She's just in the middle, I guess, because she does have some tendencies, but socially she's pretty great. So I'm not sure.
And with the video that you were able to see whenever your boyfriend dropped her off, where was that? Which video? Was that a surveillance camera?
It was a surveillance camera from the church, Peace Church, right next to Hunters Creek Middle School.
And do you have that video?
I don't have that. They didn't show me. They wouldn't show me. It was actually my sister was the one at location, and they were letting her know what they saw on camera.
Okay.
But they didn't show it to any of us.
Got it. Okay. Jen, is there anything else that you'd like to add?
Please, 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 if you have any information, contact me, contact law enforcement. Any information helps. Maddie, if you see this, please come home. Please be safe. I love you very much. If you have my Maddie, please just let her come home. We just want her home.
All right. Well, good afternoon. So thank you for being here. So we
I have to keep remembering to take the mute thing off. So yeah, I mean, that was a load of bollocks, wasn't it? If we ever did see a load of bollocks, let me just bring up. So one of the first narratives, I'll go through this and then I will end the live for the evening, because I've got to obviously do TikTok later. No friggin' window. Oh, whoever asked me about what happened at the siege place, the guy in Sheffield, after over 30 hours of being captive in his flat because he was on siege with the police, he was eventually arrested for possession of a weapon, hoax bomb, threats to kill and affray. And there is a video circulating on the street of the Tox of him being marched down the stairs. So they did get him, but it just took them nearly 2 days to get him. And they had the drone and everything. I fell asleep and then I woke up at 4 and there were still people going out and filming and that. And then the police just suddenly disappeared and they were like, oh, it's all done then, is it? And they they hadn't took him out at that point, but I went back to sleep. I thought, I'm done looking at the window. Yeah. So this is the report. So this is an incident report, and this is what came to the Orange County Sheriff's Office. Now, this document is like 896 pages, and obviously a lot of it is redacted. Of course it is. And I will get the crime scene photos at some point as we go through, and we'll look at all those. I already done that on the TikTok streets before, but I haven't done it over here. And obviously this is where we'll run the trial. So when the trial goes ahead. But we will do all of that. We will do the police body cams and everything else as it comes. So that's what I mean. This is quite big. And if you haven't heard about it, it's a good idea to do it from the beginning, right? Because it will refresh my memory, and it will be good for those just coming to the case for when things start going ahead. Kelly, if it was bloody your daughter, you'd fucking kill them. He wouldn't be sat behind you. You'd have had him straight away. He'd have been gone, and then you'd have been calling me like, what do we do now? I've done something. I've killed him. You need to get me out of this mess. And we'd be like, right, I'm on my way. You know you would. He wouldn't have stood a chance with you. Okay, so the background on this sheriff's report is, let me just bring it up on the screen. You might not be able to read it, but it will give you an idea for those of you who are not familiar with the police documentation and all that stuff. I want to make sure I get the right one in it. Which one is it? I think it is. Is it that one? Yes. Just getting the right one in it. Is it that one? No. That's not it. There it is. Okay. Right, so you should be able to see that now. So on the 26th of February, this is the background. Approximately 18. Oh my god, I need to put my teeth back in. On the 26th of February 2024 at approximately 18:53 hours, the Orange County Sheriff's Office receives a call for service reference a missing juvenile. At approximately 19:48 hours, Deputy Frankie Joseph, EID 10644, responded to, and they've redacted the name. So all those black lines, for those who don't know, is a redaction. Usually it's personal information or a child's name that they don't want in there. In reference to a missing 13-year-old juvenile, later identified, we now know is Madeline Soto. Deputy Joseph made contact with Madeline's mother, who advised the following in a verbal and sworn written statement. On the 26th of February 2023, so there's already an error in the note taking. It's either 2023 or it's either 2024. It's not that difficult. Approximately Oh, I'm sorry, Hope. Sorry, I was just reading and I was like, oh my god. Oh, Hope. Oh, I can imagine. Whew. So at approximately 0800 hours, blank observed. So, Jen, I'm assuming, observed Madeline, because they did say it was her verbal written statement, getting ready for school at approximately 8:30 in the morning. Fuck the hours bit. Madeline, Jennifer's boyfriend, Stefan, took Madeline to school and dropped her off near the intersection of Town Loop Boulevard and Hunters Park Lane. And at approximately 4 o'clock, went to the school in attempt to pick up Madeline. However, Madeline never came out of school. They searched the area for her, and after not finding her, she went to redacted. Deputy Joseph made contact with Stefan, who advised in following a verbal and sworn written statement. On February the 26th, 2023, at approximately 8:25 to 8:40 hours, Stefan dropped Madeline off at approximately 1 block away. Nicely timed there with their timings. So one says approximately 8:30, the other says approximately 8:25 to 8:40. Stephen dropped Madeline off 1 block away from school. Stefan watched Madeline leave in his vehicle and then walk in the direction of her school. As Stefan was driving away, he saw what he appeared to be Madeline searching through her book bag. Stefan didn't think anything of it due to Madeline usually looking through her bag to find headphones so she could put them in before going to school. Stefan then drove to a vape shop. However, it was closed and he drove to his residence. Stefan was approximately an hour before he travelled back to the vape shop, approximately after buying vape juice. He returned home and he hung out with Jen. Stefan then went out to run some errands. Well, we know what them errands are now, don't we? And returned home at approximately 2:30. Deputy. Yeah, makes no sense to me neither. The Deputy Joseph responded to redaction with an Orange County Sheriff's K9 unit to collect a clothing article belonging to Madeline and headed back to the intersection of the Township Boulevard and Hunters Park Lane, which was the last known location. And that area, if I can recall, was a bit of an odd area. I might pull that up next time and have it ready. We can have a look at it before we continue. So you can kind of see the area where she was alleged to have been dropped. And obviously he's still sticking to this story. He ain't done nothing wrong. He's pled not guilty. I mean, he might come to his senses before trial. Who knows? But he might not. He might not. So they were hanging out together. The police came, took an article of clothing. They went back to see if they could obviously trace a smell, and funnily enough, there was no scent picked up, and that's because she weren't there. Now, Madeline was described as 5'1", approximately 110 pounds, with blue eyes, fair skin, and blonde hair. And according to Stefan and blank was last seen wearing a green hoodie, black shorts, and white Crocs. And it's really sad when you see the white Crocs, or one of the white Crocs. Madeline was entered into EMR resource and later entered into teletype as a missing endangered juvenile by Gleisner 2314. Redaction Bolo number, and then the number. Deputy Joseph contacted the on-call domestic crimes detective, and it should be noted personnel assigned to the domestic crime squad conducting a missing persons investigation, and Detective Francis Hunt was notified and then coordinated the initial patrol response. Subsequently, advising Deputy Joseph to route the report to find the missing persons squad. On the February the 27th, 2024, so you got all their dates all over the show, Detective F. Hunt was notified that Madeline did not report to school. And at this time, Detective Hunt made contact with Jennifer and Stefan. And at that point, they're kind of keeping her name out of it. But they didn't keep his name out of it. So there's that. On the 27th, at approximately 4, I, Detective M. Tagler, was notified of the missing person investigation and responded to assist with canvassing. I responded to the initial command post located at that address. Upon my arrival, I was tasked to speak to Stefan Stearns with Detective L. Acosta. Before speaking with Stefan, I was advised the vehicle he was driving was a 210 silver Lincoln MKZ bearing, Florida tag, and it's there, had been seen in the following locations. February the 26th, southbound on S. John Young Parkway and Osceola on the Osceola County lines at 08:10 hours. And then this is a bit more of a detailed, what comes after that? Okay. We'll pick this one up. Not today. What was I going to do? I was going to come back to here. So as you can see, these documents, they're quite informative. I love that we get these documents. In the UK, we don't get these documents, Kelly, and it's just not bloody fair. We should we should have access like this. We just don't. But obviously there's an element of protecting the victim, and obviously in this, obviously, when they're doing the press conference, we know what a name is, and then they've redacted it out of the official documentation, but they're putting it in the police press conference, so that doesn't make sense to me either. Like, once you've named them, you've named them. If you weren't going to name them, that's different. But this is the situation, and this, obviously these come after the press conference. We don't get these straight away because actually, when they found Madeline, it all went weird. Like there was nothing. That was like a press conference to let us know, and then nothing. And then when they did come back and do a press conference, it was the worst press conference, and no one was really any of the wiser as to what had been going on. It was a really weird time. And then all of a sudden, people were putting in FOIA requests for this, that, and the other, and they got them. And that's when the crime scene pictures start to get leaked and this, that, and the other. And I keep trying to make a FOIA request, but the thing keeps saying the website is under construction, so that's rather annoying. So I'll have to see if I can grab them from someone else who's got them. If I can't, to get them, but I have been through them before on my TikTok live, so there is that element of that. Now, this is going to be the same with I don't know if anyone is aware. I think some of my TikToker followers will know, but I don't know if you know, Kelly, we were following the case of, or I was following the case. I've done a couple of videos, and then I just keep dipping in to see the documentation and what's coming in. But Kelsey Glover murdered her daughter, and she was the psycho. So the documents are coming in with that one, and that's one I'm sort of following in the background. And then obviously we've got Anna Walsh as well. I'm hoping they show that trial because I followed it back then. And again, once we sort of get nearer that time, we'll start from beginning there with the information that I can pull up for her as well, because that's another case that was just horrible. I have covered her recently on my TikTok, but yeah, her situation wasn't great either. So with that, I'm going to go and sort myself out. Then I will be on TikTok live, and we're going to continue with the just going through the David Fuller stuff, the voice for the victim, family of the victims, and then we are going to we will then do the Lucy Letby public inquiry, and we will go from there. So thank you all for being there. It was good to see Kelly. I hope everything's going all right over there, out there. You will hear from me in the next day or two. And we will pick this up. I will set a live for tomorrow, and we'll do another part. It will come in a lot of parts. So you guys have a good rest of your day, whatever time of the day it is. I will see you soon. Thank you for the super stickers and for just being here and keeping me company so I'm not talking to myself. Nothing worse. And yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate all of you. I will see you on the old sock streets in a bit. See ya.